welcome everybody. Very glad you can join us today. My name is Sequoia Johnson. I'm the older adult advocate with the library system here. Can everybody hear me okay? Think so. Okay. We're very happy to be hosting Dr. Shilpi Gupta back for a second Healthy Aging series, and this time we're looking at decoding biological clocks. Dr. Shilpi Gupta is a research scientist with a background in cancer biology and innate immunology. She specializes in science communication, writing, and education. She currently authors 2 newsletters, Science Explained, which analyzes the scientific foundations of various biotech companies, and Science Simplified, which explains the science behind human health and diseases for a general audience. Additionally, she founded the Curious Minds community to empower individuals with science-backed tools and techniques that can be utilized to enhance both mental and physical well-being. So thank you for being here, Dr. Gupta. I'll hand it over to you now.
Thank you, Sequoia. That was wonderful. So good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. And I'm thrilled to be back with another collaborative series with Bonn Public Library. And this time we are talking about another fascinating aspect of our healthy living, and that is biological clocks. And we will be talking about the biological clocks and specifically about healthy aging, the aspect of healthy aging. So this 5-part series marks our second collaboration project, but not the last, as part of our ongoing commitment to educate seniors about healthy aging through the lens of science. So Align Biological Clocks, this series will talk about the diverse circadian rhythms within our bodies, followed by discussion on science-backed techniques to harness our biological clock for enhanced well-being. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'm really looking forward to making this session an enjoyable and informative learning experience for you all. Sequoia did mention a little bit about me, and I'm just to let you know that if you want to learn more about what I'm doing, the other webinar series which I'm conducting in collaboration or through my organization, you can go and check my website. It's one place where you can find everything, the newsletters you want to sign up, or the projects or the workshops. So it's a lot of things which I'm doing right now, and it's interesting because it's for everyone. It's for healthy aging, it's for women specific webinar series, and for children as well. So just go look out, and if you like what you see there, please share with everyone in your community, because if we are learning, let's learn together and make it fun, and it's supporting each other. So thank you so much for that support. And now let's look into this whole aspect of aging. So as we journey through life, aging is a natural and inevitable process that brings about a series of changes in our brain and body. But you know what? Change is a natural part of life, and adapting to these changes is key. We have the power to optimize our aging journey through proactive choices. Embracing a proactive mindset means understanding that aging is a dynamic process and taking intentional steps to adjust and manage these shifts. It's about aligning our behaviors and habits with our current state of body and mind. And by recognizing these normal changes and actively using behavioral tools that fit our needs, we can take charge of our health and keep life fulfilling and positive as we age. So, you all have taken the first step of learning about the changes in your body and mind, and I applaud you for that. Now let's look at this. This is very interesting. This was something which was done by NPR. NPR is a well-renowned magazine, a newsletter. They also have a podcast, and they recently asked their readers to spill the beans on their secrets to healthy aging for their new series, How to Thrive as We Age. And guess what? They got a whooping 1,000 responses, and people shared all sorts of tips like making friends across generations, setting new goals no matter your age, staying active, and being adaptable. All super important stuff, right? But the thing which is closer to my m- the mindset, the thing which appeals me most, and it's the mantra which I also keep closer to my heart, is the mindset. And mindset matters. uh it's the mother of all secrets, the one that really hit home. It's something so simple yet incredibly profound. So this person, Mindy Coleman, she said, and which is something like very, very incredibly correct. She said that my biggest secret weapon about aging has been my belief, my attitude. I figure that it's inevitable, so I might as well enjoy it as much as possible. Embrace it, lean into it, roll with it, observe the changes, and see it as a full cycle of life to live and experience. So, as you know, what's even more empowering? When we understand how our minds and bodies change as we age, and we equip ourselves with the knowledge of what behavioral adjustments we can make to adapt to these changes, we become less anxious and more empowered. It's all about approaching aging with the right mindset and arming ourselves with the tools to navigate this journey with confidence and grace. So, what are the components of healthy aging? So, if we look into the components of healthy aging, it will boil down to achieving optimal physical, cognitive, and mental well being, managing chronic conditions, preventing injuries, and staying socially engaged. These components are interconnected, influencing one another in our journey towards wellness. When we zoom into these components of healthy aging, we can identify four foundational pillars that serve as the bedrock for supporting our overall well being. And these are sleep, nutrition, exercise, and appropriate fluid intake. Now imagine this. What if I told you that these all foundational pillars, as sleep, nutrition, exercise, can be optimized by following a single theme? Just picture the impact when one idea ties together all these four foundational pillars. It's like unlocking a powerhouse of health benefits that work synergistically to enhance our well being. And this is the idea behind is clocks. A simple yet powerful invention which helps everyone to be in a rhythm. Like these external clocks, which tells us time, you also have an internal biological clock. And not just one, many. In fact, every organ has its own clock. These are body's own, very own timekeepers that manages our daily routines. We have got a main clock in our brain. This is our main biological clock in our brain. And it is kind of like the conductor of a symphony, and smaller clocks in every organs, which we call peripheral clocks. So we have a master biological clock and peripheral clocks. In this series, my aim is to introduce you to the circadian lifestyle for healthy aging. The term circadian originates from Greek, meaning around the day. Over the course of this five-part series, you will delve into the realm of biological rhythms and, most importantly, discover how paying attention to them can contribute to healthy aging. Today, in this introductory talk, we will explore the science behind biological clock. We will decode what biological clocks mean, why they are important, and how they are influencing every aspect of our lives. And based on the information which we are learning today. In the upcoming talks, we will delve into deeper into different aspects of circadian rhythms. In the second session, we will unravel the mysteries of the master biological clock, which is present in your brain, which is controlling your sleep wake cycle. So, we will understand how we can use this biological clock for optimal sleep. And in the third talk, we will talk about the biological clock, which is present in our digestive organ. So, we will take control of that clock and understand when we should eat and how we can use this clock to maintain our weight, to have a healthy nutritional habits and healthy weight. So following that, the fourth session will emphasize on the importance of biological clock in regulating our thirst response. As we are aging, each and every aspect of our biological clock changes. So this whole series will be focusing on what are the changes which we can focus on and how we can use them for our optimal health. The last session of this will be the most important one. Each and every is one is important, but it's a lot we talk about, we hear about. But the fifth one, we will be talking about our gut is also referred to as the second brain, because we have a strong gut and brain connection, and this is the area where we don't focus a lot, and it should be our main focus area, because it can influence a lot of degenerative diseases as well. So we will understand about how the biological clock is regulating our gut issues and a lot, because as we are aging, we see a lot of gut related issues, and we will talk about this, how we can utilize the biological clock to understand about the gut issues. So throughout this journey, I will be sharing scientifically backed behavioral modification techniques and practical tools, and each session will complement the other, providing you with a diverse toolkit. So let's begin. So, first of all, circadian lifestyle. Uh, is it just another trend? It's a, or why we should pay attention to it? Um, and why now? So, it is actually not any other fed diet trend. It's actually a whole body approach, a holistic approach to health. That's all about syncing our daily routines with our natural rhythms. So, have you heard about circadian lifestyle before? Speaking of which, have you heard the saying, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise? So, similar ideas about the benefits of getting up and going to bed early can be found in cultures all around the world and throughout history. But as society has become more industrialized, we have kind of lost touch with the importance of sticking to our natural rhythms. And this important aspect of healthy living has lost its importance. But now it's coming back. There's a research which is backing up that circadian lifestyle is good. And now we are realizing that we are living longer, but not healthy. So, the average life expectancy at birth was often around 30 years or even lower, just few years back, 50 years back. But the mid 20th century advances in antibiotics, vaccinations, and medical treatments further contributed to increased longevity. In many developed nations, the average life expectancy exceeded 70 years, and in some cases, it's more than 100 in some blue zone regions around the world. So, even though we are living longer, it doesn't mean we are necessarily living healthier. A lot of us are dealing with chronic health issues like diabetes, heart problems, and joint pains. It's like having a longer life, but not necessarily a better or more active one. And can you guess why? One thing that's been overlooked for a while is how important our body's internal clock or circadian rhythm is for our health. This rhythm is affected by things like when we eat, when we sleep, and get exposed. Are we getting exposed to natural light or not? In today's fast-paced world, we often mess with these natural patterns. We might stay up late on screens, eat at odd hours, or work in environment with artificial lighting. And these disruptions can throw our body's internal system out of whack. It can mess with our sleep, our mood, and even our metabolism. It's like asking our body to work when it's not really in sync with what it's supposed to be doing. So don't just ask what and what not. It's time to consider when. So, as a nation, we are obsessed with what to eat, what not to eat, what to drink, what not to drink, and what to do for physical fitness and what not to do. So, these are the questions which we are asking for a long time and we are focused on it. Everyone is fitness word, scientists, everyone is focused on this aspect of life and we have forgotten to ask when. So, now the latest research is focusing on this aspect of when. And so, we are shifting the focus from what to when for optimal health. And did you know about a fascinating study from Salk Institute? So, some brilliant scientists there found that the timing of your meals might be even more important than what you are eating. So, this study is just now done in mice. It's very promising, and they are now carrying forward this study in humans. And it's pretty intriguing that, like, if even if you are eating junk food, the if you are eating at right time, your body will behave rightly for you. It will be healthy for you at the end. So, but yeah, let's wait for the human study and we can conclude about this. But the mice study is very promising. So now that we have highlighted the significance of biological clocks for our health, let's delve deeper into why they are crucial for all living species and how scientists stumbled upon their existence. So, life on Earth is adapted to the rotation of our planet. We all know that we are rotating around the sun, and there is this whole, because of this rotations, we have seasons, we have day and night. And so, this is the core truth. And we have synced our cycles, we have synced our biological clocks according to this rotation. So, scientists first of all noticed these rhythms in plants. So, this was the experiment first done in Mimosa pudica. So, Mimosa pudica is a sensitive plant, a touch me not. Most of you might know it as a touch me not plant or a sensitive plant. When you touch its leaves, it will just close its leaves and it's very sensitive to the touch. So, first when its leaves are touched or disturbed, they quickly fold on. This characteristic reaction caught the attention of scientists, particularly in the context of circadian rhythm. So, researchers conducted experiments with this plant by placing them in constant darkness and also constant temperature conditions. The plant continued to exhibit leaf movements, opening and closing in a rhythmic pattern. So, this demonstrated that the plant has an internal clock influencing its behavior. So, it has this clock and it knows that after 12 hours it has to open and it has to be closed. So, even though the light is important for the biological clock to respond, but there is an internal clock which is influencing the behavior of opening and closing. So, at first, when scientists suggested that humans had the same internal clock, many people didn't believe it because we are the topmost in the species. We are the highest. Uh, we are the high. We are in the top in the food chain, and we are the most developed ones. So we thought that we are not influenced by the internal clock. We might not have it. Uh, we are just influenced by the environment around us and we are not governed by the internal clock. So that was the original theme, and it was not discovered because the experiments like this, you cannot keep humans completely in darkness or completely in a constant temperature. It's a difficult experiment to perform. But then There was this in 1950s, some researchers came up with a very innovative experiment. They this the person who likes to go to and explore caves, so they chose some of the people who are explorers, who are cave explorers. So they asked them to go on these caves, go inside these caves, which has like complete darkness, no influence of the outside world. So they were given a a call a phone to connect, like radio phones, to just tell when they are sleeping, when they are waking up. So this they did this experiment for a few days, and they noticed that even without the external cues of light and darkness, the person was sleeping almost around the same time and waking up almost around the same time. This was the experiment which revealed that even humans have an internal biological clock. But it took a while for scientists to understand the mechanism, like how this biological clock is being regulated. And these three brilliant scientists discovered this in 2017. They also were awarded with the Nobel Prize. So they are Jeffrey C. Hall, Michael Rospesh, and Michael W. Young. So they discovered that we have some genes which are responsible for this whole cycle, this day and night, which is being governed inside each and every cell of our body. So, this was a great discovery. And since then, we are understanding how this biological clock is influencing our daily physiology, how these biological clocks are important for us. So, it took time to understand that these biological clocks are really important. And now we have plenty of evidence to support this idea that the when of eating, the when of sleeping, the when of exercise is so important, and for us to consider to have a healthy lifestyle. And our circadian rhythms change as we are growing up. So we should understand these changes and adapt to these changes. And this is all we are talking in this series. So I am talking a lot about the rhythm, the biological clocks, but what are they? We all know a little bit about them, right? We know that at this particular time, we feel sleepy, and we like without clocks, people get up at same time. They feel hungry at that same time. If that is happening, you have a perfect circadian rhythm. You have a good biological clock running inside you. But most of the time, we don't feel that kind of like signals, and this is the signal which our body is giving that something is going wrong. Our biological clock is not in rhythm, and we can correct it. And we will be talking about this in the from session from the talk 2. So let's just look around the rhythm of the daily life. So this is just few of the things which I'm going to tell you to just tell how the biological clock is being regulated throughout this 24-hour day, a period in our life. So typically we wake up in the morning when natural light levels rise. This is a key signal for our internal clock that it's time to be awake and alert. And this can happen around 7, 6 a.m. So if you are getting up around 8 or 7, at 6 a.m., your body starts increasing cortisol. So, cortisol has been known as the stress hormone, but cortisol is actually also important for us to feel awake, to feel motivated, and to get up from the bed. So, from 6 a.m., just before 2 hours of your getting up, your cortisol level rises, your body temperature changes, and you get the signal of waking up. So, this is the first rhythm in your whole day. So by mid morning or afternoon, which is for most of the people the very active phase, because this is the time your insulin secretion is rising, your body is ready to take your first meal, and you're breaking your fast by taking some you are taking your breakfast, so you are breaking that fast and your digestive system comes into action. So everything, the alert phase from mid morning to afternoon is the alert phase for most of the people. Our cognitive functions are active. We are the physical performance, if we are doing some exercises, we can do it much better because our body is ready to do that. And by noon to early afternoon, we experience our highest level of alertness and concentration, making it a productive time for work or for any intellectual activities. So that's the time when we can do a lot of intellectual work, a lot of decisions we can make, and we can work on the most complicated projects if we are supposed to do that. So by the late afternoon to evening, which is a slightly slower phase, so as the day progresses around here, you will feel your energy levels are dipping, and this is part of the natural rhythm. And this is the time when we crave for coffee, we go for tea, we go for a little run outside because we are not able to concentrate in, and we need some stimulant in our body. This is the time when our cortisol level is going down and our body is actually winding down and preparing for the sleep. So if you know, you will not take, if your caffeine is, if you take caffeine after 4 and your bedtime is around 10, you should avoid taking caffeine after 4 because it will disrupt your sleep. Caffeine takes time to metabolize, and it will be in your system and it will keep you awake. So from 2 to 4, when your energy level starts to dip, this is the time when you can take caffeine to just get back to the normal levels. And by 8, your caffeine will be out from your system and you will be able to sleep by 10. So it's preferred not to take caffeine after 4. You can take any other hot drink if that's your thing, or cold drink without caffeine. So that is just an important point here. But then your by late afternoon or evening, which is your slightly slower phase when you crave for coffee or any stimulant, your body temperature is also decreasing. Your melatonin is increasing in the body and your body is preparing for sleep. So your body has this biological clock which prepares your system for the next activity long before uh, it is happening. So that's so interesting how our body works. So by evening, which is your wind down phase, your body is preparing for rest as it was happening before. Now it's going in the faster pace. So this is very important phase. And during the evening time, if we are exposed to a lot of light, a lot of screen time, or a lot of any screen, TV screen, or mobile, or laptops, so this is the time we can actually disrupt our sleep, our melatonin production. So we will go into detail into this during the second talk, but this is so important to understand how our body's daily rhythm works. So then in the night when we are sleeping, we will go through the different stages of sleep, and each phases of sleep has its own function. So we think during our sleep, our body is actually not doing much. But on the contrary, we are doing a lot of things when we are sleeping. Our muscles are not working. We are not, they are semi paralyzed, but our brain is working at full potential. And it is actually cleansing everything. It is on in the cleansing mode. So it's a very important phase for in everyone's life. And as we are aging, our sleep gets disrupted. But how we can balance and we can get the most out of the sleep, focus on the optimization of sleep, is something which we should be focusing on. So this is how then again in the early morning, the same thing repeats itself. So this is the daily rhythm of our life. Isn't it fascinating? I'm just like in awe with every time when I think about how it's it's changing. So I just touched upon very few aspects. We will go into detail into every aspect of the biological clock in this series, because there is this digestive clock, there is this is hydration clock, then there's a sleep clock, and yeah, you will understand it more clearly in the coming talks. So now, as we have talked about the daily rhythm, our these daily rhythms are affected by a lot of things, specifically by light, temperature, and food. So in the past, our ancestors lived in sync with nature. So this is the ancestral rhythm, and you can see it is like this physical activity is the major portion. The opportunity to eat was limited, and sleep, they used to sleep with the sun. So they used to get up when the sun was there, uh, and used to sleep with the sun going down. So this was the ancestral rhythm. But today, our modern lifestyles with artificial light and constant technology can mess with our body's natural rhythms, making it harder to sleep well and stay healthy. So, our ancestors ate when food was available, often hunting or gathering. They sometimes had to fast when food was scarce. But now we can get food anytime, anywhere, thanks to fast food and delivery services. This constant access to food has led to more snacking and bigger meals, which can uh, throw off our body's internal clock. And this can affect hormones that control hunger and metabolism, possibly leading to weight gain and other health issues. So, look at this amazing sky view without any light pollution. It's breathtaking, isn't it? Have you ever seen anything like this before? Like most of us have, if we are going to provincial parks and in the night the sky looks this. But now look at our city's night sky. It's beautiful in its own way, but do you notice something missing? Yeah, that's right. There aren't any stars here. And all that artificial light, especially during night, evening time, when melatonin in our body is going up and our body is preparing to wind down, this artificial light signals our brain daytime, and it disrupts with our natural rhythm, making it harder for us to sleep and stay healthy. And this is, if we compare these two pictures side by side, this is our modern grocery store with plenty of food choices, brightly lit aisles, and a tempting array of highly processed foods. Contrast that with the image on the right, where there's scarcity of food requiring hunting and gathering. So, in summary, the changes in opportunities to eat and the levels of physical fitness in modern society have significantly altered our rhythms. This is our modern rhythm, where sleep is here as compared to this. The sleep is reduced, the opportunity to eat is increased, especially during night, and then our physical activity is reduced. So, while neither scenario is ideal, it's clear how far we have come. Our environment has changed drastically, but our bodies and minds still operate on the biological rhythms of our hunter gatherer ancestors. And this is the key. So, I'm not suggesting here that we go back to simpler, tougher times, but instead let's understand that this is a reality. Our environment has changed so fast, but our body are still the old one. We still have that ancestral rhythm, and by understanding this we will understand how to align it with the current environment. And the good news is we have strategies to help us to do that. We are not clueless. We have the knowledge and tools to thrive in today's world with honoring our biological roots. And if we are not honoring this, now the data tells that if you have a disrupted circadian rhythm, then all these diseases is can and pop up in your body. So these all diseases which earlier was related to uh, like what you are eating, like if you are eating processed food, fast foods, high sugary foods, everything was every disease was blamed because of your food choices. But now we know that food choices are important, but it's also important when we are eating, when we are sleeping, and when we are doing a physical fitness exercises. So everything, sleep disorders, mood disorders, impaired cognitive function, metabolic hormonal imbalances, weakened immune function, cardiovascular, it's a lot of things which are related to the disrupted circadian rhythm. And so now it's high time to pay attention to it, and there is science to back this thing up now. So I will not go into much detail about this, but I will just give a brief idea how circadian rhythms work. And then we will open this webinar for questions, because we will be talking about how circadian rhythm works in our coming talks. But let me just give you a brief idea. So as I mentioned, we have a master clock in our brain, which is the master biological clock, and it is situated in the center of your brain. It is called as suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN in short, and it is placed near to the hypothalamus, which is a very important region in our brain. And this SCN, or the biological clock, acts as a central pacemaker, and it governs the body's circadian rhythms. It receives inputs from external cues, primarily light exposure, which helps it synchronize with the natural day night cycle. So it is very close to the optic nerve, and optic nerve is connected with the eye, and eye is receiving the signals from outside in terms of light. So we know when it's day outside by the light which is coming in our eyes, coming in through our eyes, and going directly connecting the optic nerve with the pacemaker or with the master biological clock. And so we are syncing ourselves with the external light or the external darkness as through our eye and the master biological clock. And then we have peripheral clocks in each and every organ of our body. So here, for example, we have a liver clock, heart, kidney, muscles, and every organ. And they all work in symphony with the brain. So brain is the master regulator, and it is regulated by light as an external source. And then it gives the signals or the messages to the other biological clock to start their work or to stop their work. So, um, for kidney, we know that it's for purification, it's for or detoxification. So, if anything we are eating, it is being regulated by the kidney biological clock. And then we have heart, which is pumping blood for us 24/7. So it is also has a own biological clock which is regulated by the brain. So these clocks work in synchronicity, and they are being regulated by the external cues as well. Light, the feeding time, and the fitness, when you are going for exercises, they all actually control your biological clocks in some way or other. So light is here, which plays a major role in controlling your master biological clock, as I mentioned, and the master biological clock is actually controlling actions of other biological clocks. And then your feeding schedule directly controls your liver, your digestive, your kidneys. All of this is controlled by the feeding schedule. And then your exercise is controlling your muscles, your fat biological clocks. And we will be talking about this in detail in the coming talks. So, in summary, we have three core rhythms, and it is the light, which controls majorly your sleep, the feeding time, which controls your nutrition, and then your digestive, everything related to metabolism, everything is related to the feeding time, and then your physical activity, which is controlled when you are doing your physical activity. So, to end, I will say to have rhythm is to be in sync. is to be healthy, but not just any rhythm will do. I will end here and open this webinar for questions and answers and discussions.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. That was very interesting, and there's a lot to think about there.
Yeah.
The fact that we have so many different rhythms, that's new information for me.
Yeah, I bet. We have this circadian lifestyle is not talked about much. It's quite a new thing, and most of the time when we talk about circadian lifestyle, the response from people is like, is this another fad diet? Is this another some kind of like Atkins or keto diet? No, the answer is no. It's actually very holistic, and it was there before. We totally forgot about it.
And so there was new research in 2017 that it wasn't until 2017 that we became more aware of these cycles, right?
Yeah, in 2017, we understood the mechanism of the clock genes and we understood how the biological clocks work. But it was very late until we understood the importance of these biological clocks in our health. It is it is the research of like last 10 years where last 5 or 10 years where we understand that these biological clocks play an important role in every aspect of our life. So the research which I was talking about from the Salk Institute, the same group actually also discovered the blue light sensor in our eye. So now we know that in our phones we have this night mode, right? Or in our laptops we have a night mode setting where we can shift the blue light to the orange or the yellow light. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Yes, so the nighttime setting, this blue light sensor, or the blue light affecting our eye and our biological clock is a very new finding. It was around 2018 or 2019. We were not aware of this before, and so these are very new findings, and I was surprised by the research where they took this two group of mice and they both were fed a, a highly processed diet, which a highly processed and a high sugary diet, and one was given food like irregular meals, snacks, a lot of this group of mice, and the other was given at particular times, and both were having the same kind of meal. But the one who was given at regular time intervals showed a drastic difference in the health profile. So now, if we can not think about what to eat, what not to eat, and just think about when to eat and when to stop eating, it's a big difference. And it is approachable. It is actually feasible. You can do that. It's difficult to just go on and eat healthy diet every time. It's once in a while are you want to eat that highly processed diet because it's tasty. We our bodies are trained like that. We go for high sugary diet, high processed diet. That is what we like. But if we know when to eat, we can have a healthy balance. Like we can eat that high processed diet, but we know when to eat if we know when to eat. Yeah, so it's big revelation.
Thank you for that. Okay, so we have a question in the chat. Why does it make a difference if you have a later sleep schedule in another time zone? It would be fine to be an hour late. How does our body know where we are?
That's a very interesting question, Aisha. Thank you for asking that. So, our body knows where we are because it's uh, our body loves routine. So, as I was discussing the circadian the rhythm of our daily life, our body has a pattern, and it is a proactive decision maker for you. It is making decisions for you before you are doing the task. So I will give a little example of this. Like, if you have a regular sleeping pattern, you will start feeling sleepy around that same time. If you have a regular sleeping pattern, and if you have a regular feeding pattern, you will start feeling hungry around the same time. Why? Because your body has learned your time, your routine. Your body has learned your routine. So I- if I am eating around 12, my body has started the digestive juices. It has start making the digestive juices is around 11. So it's waiting for me to eat food around 12. So if I am sticking to my routine, I am doing justice to my biological rhythm. But if I am sleeping if I don't have a sleep schedule, I am sleeping sometimes at 10, sometimes at 12, sometimes at 9. My body is not able to identify your pattern. So it's every time confused, like, what is your pattern? And how it knows, it it learns from your environment. It is actually taking signals from the light you have around you. So during daytime, if you are spending your most of the daytime indoors where you don't have exposure to light, your body is not realizing it's daytime, because with that light signals, with that blue light specifically during day, our body is making cortisol. Our body is making that cortisol. At that low level of cortisol is actually a motivation for us to get out from bed to do things. And if we don't have that low level of cortisol, we will be depressed. And we know that, like, during this winter days in Canada, we feel that depression, that, and with the sunlight we feel happy. So I'm giving a very long answer of this, but it recognizes where you are depending upon the light it's getting through the eyes, and it's regulating your master biological clock, and it learns your patterns. It learns from your routine, and it's expecting you to follow the routine. So because it is a proactively, it is preparing your body to do that thing for you. Yeah. And if we are moving from different time zone, we all have felt that jet lag, right? Because our body is used to the previous routine, and now we are in a different time zone. We are feeling sleepy at odd times. We are feeling hungry at odd times. So that's the jet lag which we have.
Hey, really, really interesting. And I guess we could do a whole series on light, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our next week will be, I don't have that in front of me. Do you have that, Dr. Gupta, what the theme is for next week?
Yeah. I have in the first few slides. I will just take that out.
You have it,
Next week, we are talking about sleep.
sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. So, yeah, leveraging circadian rhythms for optimal sleep.
Okay, and then the week after that will be aligning your clock for weight loss, and
Weight
then how.
loss.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so thank you very much. We're looking forward to meeting again on Thursday of next week. And I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. And thank you once again, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in the next, or you can write me.
Okay, bye
Thank
for now. See you next week.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.